allow.
Right
What
now.
say here?
Right now. Start him now. Stop it. Enough. Player on your team is pissed off. He just wants to rush the passer and go home and get out of the building. It's brutal what's going on. And it's like, as much as I rip on Cleveland, it's still like, damn, man. I still talk to my boys who have played there, and it's just like, are they ever going to figure it out? And at this point, bring yourself a spark.
No.
Bring yourself a spark. Put Shedeur in. Let him go. Let him rip. He's looked good enough in the preseason. He's been sitting there for 8 weeks now. To be honest, bye week this week, they'll probably start Gabriel again. If that goes bad, I think you have to turn it over.
Johnny Manziel, the former Browns quarterback who lived through the chaos of Cleveland football, has officially reached the point where he can't stay quiet anymore. He jumped into the conversation with the same fire that made him a headline magnet during his playing days. And this time, he's using that energy to call out the Browns in a way fans weren't expecting. Manziel said the message is simple. The team can't keep pretending the current quarterback situation is heading anywhere good. According to Manziel, the patience around Dylan Gabriel has run out. He made it clear that the Browns have seen enough stalled drives, shaky moments, and confusing decisions, and he believes the team is only hurting itself by refusing to make the one move that everyone keeps talking about. That move, in his eyes, is finally handing the keys to Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback he thinks is more than ready to step into the spotlight. Manziel didn't ease into the subject. He went straight at the coaching staff, saying that if Gabriel can't produce immediate, undeniable results, then holding Shedeur back makes absolutely no sense anymore. He even pushed back at Coach Kevin Stefanski's cautious approach, saying the team can't win if the coach is scared to make the tough decision. In Manziel's words, this isn't the moment for hesitation. This is the moment to choose the quarterback who can actually turn this season around. And Manziel didn't stop there. He reminded everyone that he's been backing Shadur Sanders long before this season even started. In a previous interview, Manziel openly praised Shedeur's talent and described him as great, not just because of his arm or his numbers, but because of the way he stays poised when everything around him gets messy. He said Shedeur's calmness is something most young quarterbacks don't have, and it's exactly what Cleveland needs right now. Manziel even reflected on his own journey, admitting that he didn't always handle the pressure in Cleveland the way Shedeur does naturally. That level of honesty from someone who walked through the fire in Cleveland gives real weight to what he's saying now. Manziel believes Shedeur has the kind of mental toughness and emotional control that separates future stars from temporary starters, and he thinks the Browns are sitting on a major opportunity.
Guys in that position, I think he, to be honest, handled it as good as you possibly can with a smile on your face and like just letting everything kind of play itself out. I don't think I would have been able to handle it the way that he did. It's mad props to him to be able to face that and just.
From Manziel's point of view, Cleveland needs a leader who can walk into the huddle and instantly get everyone locked in. Someone who can stay cool when the stadium starts shaking and the game is slipping away. He said Shedeur brings that energy, that stability, and that quiet confidence that can spread through an entire offense like electricity. That's why Manziel sounds so fired up right now, because he believes the Browns are holding back a quarterback who could change everything. To him, this isn't just a fight about a depth chart slot. It's a turning point for the whole franchise. Whether the Browns listen or not, Manziel is making it clear he thinks Shadur Sanders deserves his chance now, not later. Manziel pointed out that the Browns made a loud, risky move when they let Joe Flacco walk to clear space for younger talent. But now their first choice hasn't lived up to the hype. The next move feels obvious to him. Give Shadur Sanders the starting job immediately. He said this wouldn't just help the offense finally move the ball, it would light up the entire locker room with a fresh spark that the team has been missing for weeks. To Manziel, this isn't complicated. The Browns took a gamble on youth, so it's time to fully commit instead of dragging out a struggling situation. He believes Shedeur brings a different kind of energy, something that could flip the whole building from frustrated to fired up in a heartbeat. Johnny didn't hold back when calling out the Browns front office for refusing to give Shedeur Sanders a real opportunity. He said anyone watching can see the playoff dream is slipping away fast, and pretending otherwise is just wasting precious time. In Manziel's words, Cleveland is standing on a cliff. Either let the season slide into the same old disappointment, or finally give Shedeur the chance to prove he can be the franchise's future.
Let a guy go who's winning games to go younger, and the first option is not really working. You won one, you're struggling a little bit. His first week, really brutal. I think you turn it over to him. I think you get some excitement in the building. I think you get some excitement around the franchise.
Manziel even laid out the next step with brutal honesty. He said if Shedeur gets his shot and doesn't pan out, then Cleveland should be ready to use their third overall pick in the next draft to grab the quarterback who can finally stabilize the franchise. But he made one thing clear. Cleveland needs to find out now if Shedeur is that guy who can carry this team for the long run. On the other side, Ocho didn't hold back either, and his words hit just as hard. He came straight at Coach Stefanski, accusing him of not only blocking Shedeur Sanders from playing, but stirring up tension inside the locker room with these choices. Ocho said it's impossible to build trust when the coach refuses to give the team the player who might actually save their season. Ocho stated that he isn't here to bash Dillon Gabriel personally, but he won't ignore the obvious either. Gabriel isn't pushing the ball downfield the way this offense needs. He said the Browns receivers are basically running wind sprints without any real shot at making explosive plays because the passes they should be getting simply aren't coming. According to Ocho, the Browns can't compete in today's NFL without a quarterback who can make those deep, pressure-packed throws that swing momentum and break defenses. And he believes Shedeur Sanders is that guy, the one with the arm, confidence, and attitude to open up the playbook and give Cleveland a real fighting chance. Ocho and Manziel may not agree on everything, but on this one point, they're locked in. It's time for Shedeur Sanders to step onto that field. Ocho made it clear that the problems with Dillon Gabriel aren't some hidden secret. Everybody inside that locker room sees it loud and clear. He said the frustration is especially heavy among the wide receivers who feel like their talents are being wasted with the current quarterback situation. Guys like Njoku, Judy, and even Tillman are struggling to stay productive because the passing game keeps collapsing at the worst moments. According to Ocho, this is more than a slump. It's a sign that Gabriel's run as the Browns starter is coming to an end unless Coach Stefanski tries to stall for time and protect his own decisions. Ocho even warned that if Stefanski keeps forcing a situation that isn't working, he might end up putting his own job at risk sooner than he realizes. Johnny Manziel also chimed in, and he didn't soften the message either. He said the Browns have 3 games on the schedule against the Raiders, Bills, and Titans, where they could realistically walk away with wins. But when Shannon asked Manziel if Dillon Gabriel could actually lead the team to victory in those matchups, Manziel didn't hesitate for even a second. He said no with full confidence. Manziel explained that Gabriel simply doesn't give the team enough scoring power to compete, even against defenses that aren't elite. He said that unless the Browns have a quarterback who can put real numbers on the board, these winnable games become false hope. He made it clear the Browns need to address this problem fast before those games slip away just like the others. As more voices across the league speak out about Stefanski's decisions and the direction this team is headed, the pressure grows on both Stefanski and Gabriel to fix something that's clearly spiraling. Analysts, former players, and even fans are noticing the same patterns, and the criticism is stacking up higher every week. In the last game against the Patriots, Gabriel actually started off strong, hitting a few crisp throws and giving the offense a spark. But as soon as the pressure hit and New England tightened things up, everything fell apart again. And the moment that turned the tide was one decision Gabriel should have never made. Instead of protecting the ball and keeping the offense moving, Gabriel forced a dangerous throw into traffic, one he didn't need to make, and the result was a brutal interception that instantly killed the Browns' momentum. Plays like that are exactly why the offense keeps stalling, and it's the reason players, analysts, and even former quarterbacks like Manziel are saying the same thing. The Browns can't be competitive with mistakes like that. That interception wasn't just a turnover. It was a snapshot of the entire situation. A quarterback trying too hard, a coach sticking with a plan that isn't working, and a team paying the price every single week. This is the moment Cleveland must face the truth. Something has to change, and it has to happen now. Dillon Gabriel had more than enough time in the pocket on that play, and he still made the worst choice possible. Instead of dumping the ball off to a nearby runner for an easy, safe gain, he locked onto Jerry Jeudy way down the field with a defender closing in fast. The pass floated in the air like a balloon waiting to be grabbed, and the Patriots defender jumped it without breaking a sweat, flipping the entire momentum of the game in an instant. Mistakes like this keep proving what everyone already sees. Dillon Gabriel isn't the right quarterback for this Browns roster. Cleveland has explosive wideouts who thrive on timing, deep accuracy, and real confidence behind the throw. But Gabriel isn't delivering any of that. His limitations leave playmakers stuck in neutral, unable to do their jobs the way they're built to do. Now all eyes are locked on Kevin Stefanski because the pressure on him is getting heavier by the minute. Fans, analysts, and even players are calling for one thing: start Shedeur Sanders before it's too late. Stefanski can't keep pretending this issue doesn't exist, because if he does, the Browns season could fall off a cliff, and the fallout won't just hit the team, it'll hit him directly. Myles Garrett's frustration with Gabriel and Stefanski makes total sense, and nobody can blame him for the way he reacted. Garrett delivered one of the best performances of his entire career, 5 sacks, with 2 of them saving the defense from giving up potential touchdowns. That's superstar production, the kind that changes games, but his work meant almost nothing because the offense couldn't keep up. Garrett is out there dominating every snap, dragging the defense forward and doing everything possible to keep Cleveland alive. But it all feels wasted when the quarterback can't hit the throws needed to keep drives alive. It's a brutal situation for a leader like Garrett. He's shining individually while watching his teammates sink because the offense can't hold its weight. Even Cam Newton had something to say about the Browns' situation, and he didn't soften the blow either. Newton said Stefanski can't ignore what's happening inside the locker room much longer because the tension is growing and the players feel the frustration building. According to Newton, there comes a moment where a coach has to choose between pride and the team, and Stefanski is sprinting toward that moment right now. Newton believes that when Stefanski finally faces the reality of the situation, there will be only one decision left: give Shedeur Sanders the starting spot. Newton said this move is the only real path to restoring unity, energy, and fire inside the building because the locker room is clearly losing faith in the current direction. In Newton's eyes, putting Shedeur on the field isn't just a switch. It's the spark the Browns desperately need to stop the slide and reignite the entire team. He said the roster is waiting for that fresh jolt, and Shedeur Sanders is the only quarterback who can deliver it. This is the crossroads, and everyone knows which way Cleveland needs to go. Johnny Manziel's words hit way harder than a simple critique. This is coming from someone who's lived the pressure, survived the spotlight, and understands exactly what it takes to operate inside an NFL building. When Manziel speaks on quarterback play, locker room tension, or coaching decisions, it's not guesswork. It's first-hand experience talking. That's why his comments about the Browns carry real weight and can't just be brushed off. Manziel didn't call out Kevin Stefanski and Dillon Gabriel out of emotion. He called them out because he sees a system that's failing from the inside out. He knows what winning is supposed to look like, and he can clearly tell the Browns aren't operating anywhere near that level right now. To him, Dillon Gabriel's struggles aren't just a bad stretch. They're symptoms of a bigger problem that Cleveland has refused to confront. Manziel believes the Browns have too much explosive talent to be stuck in neutral, and he's convinced that Gabriel cannot execute the throws needed to unlock this offense. When he pushes for Shedeur Sanders, it's not about hype or favoritism. It's because he believes Shedeur is the type of quarterback who can bring leadership, accuracy, and real energy to a team that desperately needs all three. And Manziel isn't the only one sending warning shots. Myles Garrett's frustration keeps showing up more and more, and who can blame him? Garrett is playing at an elite level, putting up monster numbers, making huge stops, and carrying the defense, but all that effort goes to waste the moment the offense stalls out again. It's tough for any leader to keep watching games slip away because the quarterback can't capitalize on opportunities. Cam Newton sees the same cracks forming inside the locker room, and he believes Stefanski is running out of time before the tension becomes impossible to hide. Newton said something coaches fear the most. When a locker room starts losing faith in the quarterback, the entire team chemistry collapses fast. According to him, Stefanski will eventually have no choice but to make a switch just to save the unity inside the building. Both Manziel and Newton agree on one thing without hesitation. The Browns need a leader who can lift the locker room, not drain it. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is the only person on the roster who fits that description. The team needs someone with confidence, calmness, and the ability to stretch the field, because without that, the offense will continue to suffocate every week. Manziel's message highlights something even deeper. This isn't about one bad game, or one bad throw, or one slow start. This is a systemic problem that the Browns have been avoiding for far too long. Cleveland is standing at a crossroads, and the entire future of the franchise depends on which direction Stefanski chooses next. If the coach keeps ignoring what's happening, the team could slide into a full collapse. But if he makes the tough decision and finally gives Shadur Sanders the shot he deserves, it might be the move that saves the season in the locker room at the same time. So here's the real question. Do you agree with Johnny Manziel's bold statements about the Browns' situation? Should Stefanski bench Dillon Gabriel and finally let Shedeur Sanders take over? And how much do you think Gabriel's struggles are hurting the team's morale now that the season is slipping away? For the Browns, the clock is ticking, and the next decision could define everything. And now the entire city of Cleveland is staring at the same undeniable truth. The Browns can't keep running from this quarterback crisis any longer. The locker room feels it, the fan base feels it, and even former players across the league are calling it out with zero hesitation. Something has to change, and it has to change fast, or this season will go down as another wasted chapter in a franchise that's already seen too many heartbreaks. Stefanski is standing at a moment that could define his entire career. Stick with a quarterback who's losing the room, or hand the keys to the one player everyone believes can bring this team back to life. Every snap, every drive, every missed opportunity is pushing this decision closer to its breaking point. You can feel the tension pulsing through that building like a storm waiting to explode. Because when leaders like Myles Garrett are putting everything on the line and still walking off the field with nothing to show for it, the whole team starts questioning what they're really fighting for. And when veterans, legends, and analysts all agree that Shedeur Sanders deserves his shot, the message becomes impossible to silence anymore. This saga isn't just about numbers on a scoreboard. It's about pride, unity, and the future of a franchise that keeps dancing on the edge of greatness without ever stepping into it. Cleveland knows what needs to happen. The question is whether the people in charge have the courage to finally pull the trigger. If Stefanski makes the move, the entire story flips instantly. New energy, new hope, new fire. If he doesn't, the collapse will only get uglier, louder, and harder to recover from. One decision, one moment, one quarterback swap could change everything for the Browns. And trust, this isn't the ending of the drama. It's just the point where the truth becomes too loud for anyone to ignore. If you want every update, every inside leak, every twist, and every breakdown in this quarterback storm, you already know where to be. Make sure you're locked in with Huddle Files, because this saga is only getting crazier from here. And we're breaking every piece of it down with no filter and no hesitation. And you already know, we'll have every second of it broken down, every twist, every leak, every hidden play behind the headlines. So like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share it out. Stay locked in with Huddle Files, where the real NFL stories live.